Happy Halloween! Today we're doing something very special. We are getting the jack-o'-lantern mobs. So these guys only spawn on Halloween. So I'm looking at the mob farm right now and I'm not seeing any quite yet. Basically, a lot of mobs can spawn with pumpkins. Normally zombies can put on pumpkins, but they will never spawn with them. Today they can spawn with them though, and in fact, there's an even more rare version where instead of wearing a pumpkin, they wear a jack-o'-lantern, and I believe that's 2.5% of the time, so 1 in 40. So it's pretty rare. And it's not just normal zombies though, it's all versions of zombies and all versions of skeletons. So we're going to be collecting as many as we can today. To be clear, they don't go away after today. We can only get them today, but then we can name them and then keep them forever. So this world is actually pretty well equipped to collect as many as we can, starting with this mob farm. So we can redirect this and then have them go to our creeper station, and then from there, we'll basically have a bunch already. I've redirected the mob flow to the creeper station, and I'm finally starting to see some pumpkins, but no jack-o'-lanterns yet though. It's interesting, the mob rates seem to be worse than they normally are. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, we can easily sort them from here in the creeper station. Most of these guys will just die from burning up, so that makes sorting a little bit easier. But I'll sort through what we have here until we get the guys that we need. We got them! So these guys will probably be the easiest ones we'll get today. We have the jack-o'-lantern zombie and the jack-o'-lantern skeleton. And then under here we have a minecart track. So we're basically a lever pull away from having them in our trophy area. Next up, I don't even know if this is in the game, but I have to assume that there is a jack-o'-lantern drowned. So the wiki doesn't actually mention this as a mob that's one of them, but I think that's just an oversight. Either way, we'll figure this out pretty quick. So we've used this machine before when we wanted to get the trident drowns. All this area is a drown farm that can function as a farm or can function to sort out the drowns. They do indeed. So this is how we'll sort them. We can use a minecart to one at a time send them over to this area. And then, well, I just pulled the wrong lever there. But we can kill them or drop them into the nether. So I'll keep going until we get one. Got him. That didn't take long. We'll give them proper names later. We just need to get something on them now so that they don't despawn. Now before we drop him, I want to clean out the area where he'll end up in the nether. I'm also curious if I can get a trident from the 20 that's in there. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it looks like we got some copper here as well. We're in the nether now. This is where the drowns will end up from our farm. So I think I'll just clean out this guy here. Yeah, you see how he's mad at me? They're always mad at you in the nether, even though it's not night and there's not any water. And then you can see this villager. This is just a leftover from when we were sending villagers to the lightning witch farm. Okay, so I pop back up here to drop him down. And look at this. We have this adorable baby with a trident running around in our back of house area here. So I can't let him despawn. He's too cute. We're going to give him a name tag, and then he'll just run around back here. He's, mostly harmless, I guess. But yeah, he'll live up here now. I'll jump back down. So while we're in the desert, we have got to grab the desert zombies while we are here. Unfortunately, we don't have a fancy farm for it, so the plan is I'm just going to run around at night, and then we'll see what we come up with. So we have one straight ahead here. I'm going to clear out the creeper path, and we'll grab him. Alright, so basically while I did that, he despawned. Okay, so we're getting trolled now. Look at this. We have a jack-o'-lantern zombie, but it's not the desert one. But yet he is in the desert, unfortunately. Yeah, it was a huge mistake not naming that other guy right away earlier. Oh well. Okay, we are really getting trolled here. We have a second jack-o'-lantern zombie in the desert that is not the desert zombie. What is going on? It has been 3 full nights. This is starting to get a little obnoxious. There. You can die for being the wrong one. Finally found one. We are not going to make the same mistake, and we are going to immediately name him. Okay, so no good can come from us trying to move him right now. Yeah. Did you see that skeleton shoot the other zombie? Yeah, we don't need to deal with that or creepers or anything else right now. So we'll sleep first, and then hopefully everyone will burn up or despawn. Looks like there's still kind of a mess out here. Where is he? Oh, he's over here a little bit more. Yeah, and it looks like he's alone, so that's great. So basically the plan is we'll just have him follow us back to the nether portal, and then from there he can get into a minecart. Alright, yeah, maybe not quite alone, but pretty close. Alright, please get in. That works surprisingly well. So, I already have the rail set up here, and actually that will go all the way to the jungle island, so it's pretty easy from here. So here we are moving the drown through the nether, as one does, and it would be super convenient if one of these zombie pigmen would spawn here with the jack-o'-lantern. I haven't figured out how else we're going to get him. I'm just kind of banking on him falling in our lap. Okay, so the way this works is his minecart breaks automatically, and then he'll just follow us in that lower area into a lower portal, and then that will put him in the right spot on the other side in the jungle base. Alright, we're on the other side. This is the portal that they come out of, and then this is the track that they'll take over. And it will just keep going to the area where the mob collection is. And I have to say, I do not love that he picked up that block. I really don't. We can't really get rid of it. I'm thinking I'll throw a gold sword or something, and then he'll pick that up instead. Yeah, I think that's really the only solution here. It worked, kind of. He's not a jack-o'-lantern guy. If we're unable to find one, we'll at least have this guy to lean back on. Well, I found one. A bit off the beaten path, but not horribly too far away from an existing rail. So we'll need him to follow us back, so he has to be mad at us. And he is, as I have just killed all of his friends. Basically the plan is we'll pull him to the minecarts there and then just get him with everyone else. We are out here at the Nether Fortress, and right away, I found one. Not the jack-o'-lantern version, but at least we have this one. So I'm going to stick around here for a bit to try, but it is a long shot. It's kind of like manually finding all 3 wither skulls. If you imagine, these guys don't usually spawn with a pumpkin, and then the ones that do have a 1 in 40 shot of the jack-o'-lantern. So that's pretty close to the odds of finding and getting 3 wither skull drops, and we just don't have time for that today. But I'll stick around for a little bit and see if we can get any. Yeah, so unfortunately, no luck with this one. So we'll just take the one that we had already. So you might be wondering, why did I have a trap set up for this already in this nether fortress? Well, before I made the supercharged wither skull farm, my first idea was to bring them from here to the jungle base. That was a horrible idea. Yeah, you should just do it eventually the way that I did, not having it thousands of blocks away. What made it significantly worse is when the nether update happened, it temporarily corrupted the fortress, and then it made it so that those didn't even spawn wither skeletons. But after the snapshots, it reverted back to working again. I don't know. I've never heard of somebody else having that issue. But it works now, and that's what's important. So yeah, we basically just already had this laying around, luckily for us. The last one we need is the husk, and I had this idea. What if we just turned one of the skeletons in here into a husk using powdered snow? So I don't know if this will work, but we're going to try it. And I think that there's a skeleton in here. And I mean, I know it'll work to change him, but I want to confirm that it'll change and he'll still have the pumpkin on his head. And then if this works, then we'll just use that. And we probably could have done this for the drowns as well, but it's no worries. We have one. Guys, we got so lucky. I did not know we had a jack-o'-lantern skeleton in this pile. I knew that there was one with a pumpkin, and I just wanted to confirm that the concept worked before spending like 20 minutes to try to get one to spawn. But not only does the concept work, he had a jack-o'-lantern, so we don't need to do that. So this means that we have all of them, so now we can start constructing the trophy area. We are here in the basement of the collection facility, right next to what I recently made, the Evoker Sheep Converter. So the plan is we're just going to continue down this hallway, and then we'll see what that looks like. Alright, I think I have something going here. So first off, I squared off this awkward area with an additional unrelated cage, and right now there's an existing ladder in it that we'll have to relocate at some point. But beyond it is where we'll put the cages for our Halloween display. So using orange of black for Halloween, of course, and then we found a good use for shroom light. So I put this whole row on one side, and I thought, this would really work best if it was on both sides. So what I'm thinking is we'll put all the jack-o'-lantern mobs on one side, and then we'll go out and collect the regular pumpkin heads, and then we'll put them on this side. And I don't think that will be too much work. Everything is pretty common. Much less work anyway than what's already been put in. So yeah, I think this will work great. Okay, first things first. Accidentally brought over the husk, so he's been shooting at me as I go back and forth getting supplies. So we'll see if we can dodge. But basically, I continued the rail so we can keep moving them via minecart. And this is all temporary, by the way, just to drop them into the display. And then I made signs so that we can get them into the correct hole, and also I could figure out the order that we wanted them in. And then we'll just use activator rails, and then that will eject them. And then we can mine out the netherrack below them, and then they'll just fall straight into the storage. So pretty straightforward, I think. All right, let's start moving them. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. The non-jack-o'-lantern ones took a fraction of the time. And then over here we have the very prized jack-o'-lantern mobs. All looking glorious. Did not get the wither one, so maybe next Halloween. And then we have the zombies. This zombie is holding an arrow, so I think we'll give him a diamond sword. I think that would look a lot nicer. Oop. Alright, there we go. Yep, struggled getting him the sword more than getting him in here. But yeah, this all looks awesome. We'll give one last look through. Big shout out to JVT for suggesting this. I'm collecting many other mobs, but yet somehow I didn't even think about collecting these guys. So thank you so much for giving me this idea. It was quite a bit to get this quick turnaround, but we got here. Only had to sacrifice a little bit of sleep. So, if you have any ideas, be sure to leave a comment, because I'm small enough that I read all of them and take all of them into consideration. I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Thanks again, and have a wonderful Halloween.